say one of the things this council is seriously considering, they've looked at different ways to pass a marijuana ordinance. What they have to be very careful of is that so many municipalities in Michigan have been sued who have allowed marijuana facilities to be in. So this council is trying to explore it very carefully to make sure they take steps that hopefully the city will not be sued if they do decide to go that direction. And this council is not even, to my knowledge, deciding if they want to go in that direction. So there's just a lot of things that need to be considered. And I actually would commend this council for very seriously considering all the possible ramifications of having marijuana.
And to each of us considering each other's opinions and the feedback that we've gotten from the residents as well, such as yourself, Ms. Jennings. Okay, are there any more comments about marijuana? If I could have the next resident. Hello, sir. Can you state your name?
Yeah, Phil Skrowski, 6904 Kira. I have a two-part, Madam Chair, Council, Mayor. The first one is a couple of months ago I asked you about Big League Brews using those vacant lots as parking lots. You said it'd give you some time.
Sure. Through the chair, just real quick, I will have to get your phone number. That way I can get it, because I looked for it today and we couldn't seem to find it. But we were out there last week, me and the building director and the planning director. So a meeting is scheduled. That's where we're at right now. And what I can do is after the meeting, I will get your number, and then that way I can let you know. But there is a meeting scheduled, I think, for early next week.
Okay. The second thing is, I've been coming here for almost 5 years about this bar. I've been asking for help for the council, and that's the way that you're supposed to do it. You go to the police, you go to the council. The 22nd of last month, 16 days ago, 2:13 in the morning. Okay, you can count, I brought my iPad because you can count 13 guys fighting in front of my house. My neighbor came home, tried to get into their driveway. They always back their car in. They started surrounding their car, told her to get that up in her house and shut up. She called the police 4 times. They came out. This went on for 40 minutes. This needs to get fixed. We can't, people don't feel safe. There's no reason for this. It's got to stop.
Were the people arrested? Through the chair.
You can hear them say, put your hands in the air. The police were there for 4 minutes. And the neighbor told me that no one was taking it. And they were fighting in the bar parking lot at the same time. Somebody from the bar came out and said, please, everyone go home. They started surrounding your car. It's got to end.
Through the chair, I'm not going to make excuses. Businesses can't control their customers. The problem is when people walk out of a building, it's their responsibility to act accordingly. We're having issues with loud radios. That's becoming a huge thing. I can tell you this. We got cars flying up and down Telegraph. People are blowing stop signs in neighborhoods nonstop. This is an epidemic. This is not just the city of Taylor. It's not just your street. It is everywhere. And we're doing everything we possibly can to try to address these things. But in the same sense, the individuals hold that responsibility as well. How many times when you're at a street light, a car pulls up and their car is rattling yours? Now, I'm the type of person, don't get me wrong, I like rock and roll. When I'm jamming pretty good, but when I pull up and my windows are down, I turn my radio down because I'm considerate of those people around me. That's the problem. People in this country are losing consideration for everybody. And I can go on, and I know I sound like I'm rambling, but I'm just saying that you're not the only one dealing with this. Everybody's dealing with some sort of thing.
Mr. Mayor, but I went back to my emails, and 3/11/18, I emailed you and the full members of the council this same problem about the parking lot.
So here's the alternative. We went over there last week. Okay, we looked and saw what you were talking about. Absolutely, it should be paid. But then you're going to have a paved parking lot there, and things are still probably going to happen in that parking lot.
But
we're not going to set a cop in the middle of the parking lot.
No, but I'm saying that
one at a time, sir. One at a time.
Okay, go ahead.
No, through the chair, I'm telling you the steps I'm taking. You've been coming here for 4 or 5 years. Since I've gotten in here, I've been meeting and talking with you. I haven't met with you, but we've been talking. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna blow smoke. This is the process. That's the next step. We're meeting with him to go over the issues that we found.
Okay. But I mean, at least, if it's gonna be a parking lot and it's gonna be used anyway, at least bring it up to code.
I agree.
Put lighting up there.
I agree.
You know, there's like a 60-watt bulb in that entire parking lot. You would not believe the stuff that goes on there.
I agree.
It needs to be fixed. Thank you.
Thanks for coming up. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, to the administration, I don't know if it's possible, but I know that in the past 3 months, there's been, now with that incident, over 100 incidences at that particular location. And I'm not sure what the liquor control, maybe Mr. Remick knows a little bit, has to say about that. I would think that their license would be in jeopardy. I mean, you're serving alcohol and you're letting this, I mean, 1 or 2 a year, okay, but 99 in 3 months, yeah, it needs to be fixed. And I understand you're trying.
Good, sure. No, I agree. Was that from our police department?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. I think she was first. Oh, which one was first? I don't know.
I wanted to say something.
Okay, first, wait. So can you give us your name and address?
My name is Kimberly Cullinan. I live at 20117 Pinecrest. I live in the same neighborhood as he does. Caroline Pass lives in our neighborhood too. We have a problem everywhere in the first 2 streets in that neighborhood. Ziegler and Pinecrest, Jackson and Pinecrest, and I believe the bar is on. What street is the bar on? Mayfair. The sidewalks in our neighborhood are terrible, so even if you repave that, that would be great. Because I walk in the neighborhood, and just a little bit ago, I fell at St. Our Lady of Angels Church and fractured both my wrists. And it's still, this one's just almost healed, almost after a year. I never came up to the city and said anything about it. But we have many bikes in our neighborhood, we have destruction in our neighborhood from that bar, and it never gets fixed. Now, I've came up here a couple times and addressed the same issue, and it's terrible. Would you agree with me?
I'm not as close as he is.
Yeah, he's closer, but it's terrible in our neighborhood, what we go through. In my neighborhood, particularly on Ziegler and Pinecrest, I had a gunshot go off, a round of guns. I had a girl got beat up across from my house, and my neighbor came out of her house on her front porch with her loaded pistol and said, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to get out of here right now or I'm unloading that clip. It's just horrible. There's 2 houses on the both corners on Jackson and Ziegler, Jackson and Pinecrest. And the one house, and I've addressed this issue with Mr. Ramick, they were selling drugs out of that house, right in front of my driveway. My next door neighbor came out, took pictures of it. I sent information to him. And now that house is boarded up. But now the grass is very, very high. So we got, he had about 6 or 8 dogs there. And now we got rats coming around our neighborhood. And the house right across the street from him, the same situation. The grass is this high, and we got rats coming from there.
What street is that?
That is Jackson and Pinecrest.
Okay, so.
With that bar alone, we have a lot of problems in our neighborhood. And there was a lot of drugs at one time there too. So I wish it would get corrected.
Okay, thank you. I had a couple questions to the administration or the mayor. Do we have a sidewalk program, or how does that work
Through
with
the chair,
sidewalks?
we currently do not, but the homeowner or the resident is responsible for sidewalks.
Okay, then would the church be liable
Yes.
that I got hurt on their property?
Yes.
Okay, I'm concerned about that. My property. I have raised sidewalks on my property. I came here a couple months ago, very upset. My dad just passed away, so I'm very sorry about your loss. And That was the 13th family member I took care of in 16 years. The trees, they came out and cut, I asked if you would cut the trees down, because my husband and I are gonna be moving in